Well, welcome to round number 4 of the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars Series. We're back where it all began, Sydney Motorsport Park, and we're taking on the South Circuit for round number 4. It's great to be back for the Hi-Tec Drift Series, and we've got some fantastic drivers to battle it out here as we head into a Sunset Sunday session into the night under lights. The best way we can display drifting. Let's catch up, though, with our 2022 champion, who's back for this round, Brodie Marr.
Well, round 4 of the 2024 Hi-Tec Drift All-Star Series, and we are down here with a returning 2022 champion, Brodie Marr. How you going, mate?
Yeah, no, good, and stoked to be back. It's awesome to be back doing the national round tonight. Unfortunately, we've had a few cars out with mechanicals and stuff. It's quite a short little format, so if anyone has a mechanical, it's difficult to keep going. We're actually running a cable tyres and alternator belt earlier, which got us through practice, and yeah, pretty happy to get that sorted. Went back out and just qualified first, so pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's a really good spot to be in when you head back into tonight. And yeah, as you said, a couple of cars have dropped out. I mean, we got Benny Barnes, who's gone with a timing chain fault, and we've just seen a little bit of mishap going on with Jabs as well. The car didn't really sound like it was going well, but how's your beast going here tonight?
Well, once we got the alternator belt sorted, yeah, pretty good. My car's feeling pretty solid, and yeah, it's nice because obviously I'm not in the championship. Normally I have to be a little bit more conservative, but yeah, I'm just going to drive hard, and I was keen to drive hard in practice, but yeah, we're a little bit short on laps, but keen to put on a show and put in some tough battles. And this track, it's honestly quite difficult. Every corner really sets up the next one, and they want a lot of outside zones, so it's hard to flow the car in a way where you get them all. So I think we're going to see some good chases tonight. Really depends on that lead though. But yeah, I'm keen just to push up in there. And honestly, I'm going back to Tassie. I don't have anything to save the car for. So yeah, we can probably bash it up a little bit.
Love it. Thanks, Brodie. We'll see you later on tonight.
He is always a tough competitor, Brodie Marr. No matter when he joins us in the championship, he took it all the way to the end of 2023. Didn't quite get there. We'll see how he goes tonight. But let's have a look at how the championship stands, though. For James Abbott, can he go back-to-back? At the moment, he leads his teammate, Scott Shembry, by a small 21-point margin. Then he goes back to Benny Barnes, as you can see, and Glenn Omrod. That one's going to be super tight, though, because Ben Barnes now trailing by 53 points to James Abbott in the lead. Glenn, well, he's just a little bit back there, 70 points behind, so maybe him and Ben Barnes need to try and figure out who's going to be third at the moment. Let's have a look at, though, how the track is going to be lined out for our judging tonight. Of course, we start off on the right-hand side for our lead cars, and they get underway as they head into this turn. They need to set themselves up. They want to leave themselves a gap, just stay out of that clipping zone by about a metre to give the chase car a moment to put the nose in. Then it's outer clipping zone as they head up the hill to another outer clipping zone. Big, high speed, have to get the car as deep as possible. And again, this will be a real challenge for all of our drifters here tonight. Let's have a look, though, how our top 16 has lined up in the battle tree. Now you can see our top 4 are going to get a free ride into the top 8 as well. So it's going to be a tough battle now between James Abbott and Jordan McIntosh. That's championship implications. Scott Shembry and Derek Newsom, Glenn Omrod and Flash Smith, who joins again, and Bo Ibanez and Ivan Bahanikov. So that's going to be a fantastic top 16 to kick things off. Of course, our top 4 qualifiers, they get a free round. But there's Ben Barnes, and this is another talking point. Currently third in the championship points, just in front of Glenn Omrod, and he's not going to accumulate any of them in this round because look at that, the thumb is down and he is out. That has had some critical engine issues there, and they will not see him compete tonight. That's very unfortunate for Benny Barnes, who's been very impressive in his first year in the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars Series. But let's get these battles underway. The Master Chef himself, Scott Shembry, taking on Derek Newsom. The New South Wales competitors. Here we go. Oh, is that a brake lock up for Derek Newsom for a moment? Maybe a little bit of understeer for him. You can see him really struggling. Scott Shembry, though, he's done plenty of laps at the South Circuit. And have a look at him take the 350Z up the hill. Nice. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay now. Sets himself up in the first corner. Derek Newsom behind with some issues there. We'll have another look at that a little bit later potentially. But have a look at Scott Shembry out of clipping zone. Doesn't take it all the way, but he's quite out there. Have a look through here though. Right out on the clipping zone there, and he moves the Hi-Tec Oils 350Z back. He gets over the finish line now. Derek Newsom, he's got a lot of work to do in the lead up. That little bobble moment there where it could have been a brake lock up and some understeer Oh no, a little bit of a dirt turbo there. You can see the grass go up in the air, but it doesn't seem to affect his drift. Have a look at how fast he is. Scott Shembry, though, he doesn't need to do too much of this one. It's not a big risk when he knows that Derek Newsom had an issue in the chase position, and Scott Shembry just getting the car through there. Let's have another look at the Tri-Ace replay. Turn number 1, nice emulation there from Scott Shembry as they head up. We can confirm he does get the win in this battle. Just a bit of a stall there for Scott Shembry, but he doesn't stop drifting, just loses a little bit of proximity. You can see Derek Newsom just has a little bit of excursion as he goes off after the finish line. Our next battle, Glenn Ormerod will lead out over Flash Smith. Now, Glenn Ormerod has been super impressive again this year. He's had a number of thirds in the championship, a number of thirds in wins, but he got himself on a podium at Winton last round. He's got some mega speed there. Have a look at Flash Smith just trying to maintain this pace of Glenn Ormerod as they head up the hill. He's had to cut the track a little bit short there as well, sacrificed a little bit of line. We have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Ormerod a little bit shallow though in that first corner. Shuts Smith down for a moment, but there's a massive straight in there, and he doesn't continue the drift. He has to get back into it. So Flash Smith, that will deduct a few points when it comes to the chase driver for him. Very unfortunate, Glenn Ormerod though. He's just proven to be a tough competitor in season 2024. Flash Smith, though, he'll lead out this time. He might be a little bit more comfortable as he's got a bit of room. We haven't seen him do too many laps in the Hi-Tec Oils series this year. They head up the hill. Glenn Ormerod, well, he's been the king of proximity in 2024. He's got that little GT86 nose cone right up on the back of Flash Smith. You see a little bit of moment there. He has to brake and pull the car up to avoid contact. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Very smooth from Flash. Pulls it up, just grabs the handbrake, trims the car into the first corner. Might have gone a little bit wide there, actually. Doesn't quite get that flow to come back. Misses the outer clipping zone there. Goes wide here, not quite all the way out. Glenn Ormerod is confirmed as your winner of this battle, though. Let's head down to Derek Newsom, though, in the pits.
All right, down in pit lane with Derek Newsom. Unfortunately, not advancing through to the top 8 tonight for round number 4. But how was the car out there and how'd you go?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Practice, I had it pretty well dialed and changed a bit of a setup towards the end, but I think it was probably a bad call. Just down a bit on grip, and Shembry, like, he's on it. He's just a smoke show and came in on the left foot brake and the big understeer lost in the smoke, so zeroed the first run. But second run, yeah, I felt it was pretty good. Across the line, it was a bit shallow, but had the speed and there was a bit of temperature in the tyres, so it went okay. So all in all, I'm kind of pretty happy going away, and look, we have the car set up. There's no real issue now for the next one, so see how it goes.
Always a tough run to go up against Scott Shembry in your first round. It's something to settle the nerves, but will we see you back here in Sydney in a few weeks' time?
Yeah, for sure. It's the first round I've made this year due to setting up business and stuff, getting that running, but yeah, once we're going now, have a bit of tyres left, so good and bad, and yeah, we're back for round 5 and hopefully do a bit better.
All right, perfect, Derek. All the best for round 5. We'll see you back here.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Great to have Derek Newsom back at the Hi-Tec Drift Allstars series. Let's head on to our next battle, though. Ivan Bahankov will take on Bo Ibanez in this one. Bahankov in the big Falcon. Oh, was there a little bit of dirt there? And it looks like there's an issue on the right rear of that car. It has had a straight, and I'm having a look. No, the tyre has DB'd it. Looks like it's right off the rim as well, and that will bring the end to him drifting through here, and Bo Ibanez will get himself a major advantage in this battle. Of course, Ivan will be able to call a 5-minute rule and get that tyre change, which is fortunate, and we'll see him come back out. Let's have a look at the replay, though. Comes to that first corner, and I think that's where it's happening. You can see that little bit of a straight in there for a moment. He tries to go again, but very quickly Ivan has realised there is something not right with the car and pulled up. He'll know exactly what that feels like once he slows the car down and gets out of the drift. And he'll just carefully take that car around, obviously with the rims on the circuit. We don't want to make too much damage out there. But Ivan's got the brand new right rear tyre on. He'll take on Bo Ibanez, who will lead out this time. Big advantage there for Bo. Can he bring this one home? Leaves a nice gap there for Ivan to put the nose of the big Falcon in. You can see the drift mob up on the side door, though, of the S13. Oh, there's almost contact as they head up the hill. This is nice. Have a look at the emulations. They come through here, closes the gap right up over that finish line. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. This one's going to be one to watch. It's a great initiation there from Bo as he gets the car set up. You can see Ian really gets the nose of the big Falcon in there. There's a lot more weight to shift around. It unloads really nicely as well. He's got that Falcon set up fantastically. Bo Ibanez will be confirmed as the win of that battle, though, and we'll go on to our top 8. Here we go. James Abbott didn't really qualify where he wanted to. He's a little bit further down the pack in 8th position. And he's taking on Jordan McIntosh, who looks like he might have had an issue. Now, there were some issues for James Abbott all weekend with this car and coming out into this battle as well. I do believe they had a wheel issue. But Jordan McIntosh looks like he may have had a mechanical failure in the background and has pulled out of this drift competition, the Upper Motorsports entry from the North Coast. Let's check out the Trias replay as we head in the first corner. It's already issues there for Jordan McIntosh, and that is unfortunately, he does start the drift for a moment there, but a massive lack of pace compared to what we're used to seeing him. James Abbott obviously continues on with the drift. He won't know what's happened behind him. He just needs to get it going, but turn 3 is where we see Jordan stationary in the car. We might head down to James Abbott though and find out what is going on.
All right, James, we're here for round 4 of the Hi-Tec Drift Allstars, and not exactly the start that you would have been looking for with a couple of little dramas going on.
Oh man, we're having nothing but dramas. Yeah, look, we got here fairly confident, leading the championship, and yeah, Nigella's just really not playing the game today. We've had misfires and the bad throttle body and what just happened there. I think the team's a bit flustered trying to get things fixed for me to get on the track. They're doing an awesome job, but in the urgency of all that, we had a bit of an embarrassment there where the wheel came off. So Jordan was good enough to give us enough time to fix it, and I went out for my lead lap, and he didn't finish the lap with me. Came in on the tilt tray, so I don't know what's happened there, but if we have time, we're going to give him as much time as he needs to get back out on track, and hopefully we can make a good battle out of it.
Yeah, Jordan's a real sportsman, so hopefully we get to see him back out there. We'll go have a chat with him. But James, good luck for the rest of the night and the rest of the championship.
Thanks, bud. I need it.
Well, in the meantime, let's have a look at some of the top 16 highlights. Of course, our first battle was Scott Shembry and Derek Newsom. Shembry there just opened up a lead. Derek Newsom, we spoke to him just before, had a little bit of a brake lock-up and understeered for him. That was the moment where he really lost this battle, because look at his lead run. It was absolutely fantastic. I didn't think he did too much wrong there. Maybe could have gone a little bit close to those outer clipping zones, but he would have really given Shembry a run for his money if he hadn't had that issue. Glenn Omerod over Flash Smith. Now, this was the moment for him where they went through turn 1, and then he opened up a bit of a gap, and Flash Smith just straightened the car up for a moment, lost a lot of points in this battle right at that point. When Flash Smith, though, got the chance to lead out, he did a fantastic job in the S15, just managed to flow the car through the circuit, exactly what the judges want to see as they head up the hill, those outer clipping zones. Now, Ian Bahaskoff, this was an issue for him. Debeated that right rear tyre. It was a massive moment in this competition because they looked like they were going to go door to door up the hill, and he's had to pull out of that, and that will give him 0 points in his lead run because he's had to pull out of the drift and hasn't finished it. Bo Ibanez, he let out nice and strong as well. Gave plenty of room for Ian to put the nose in of the Drift Mob Falcon. And Ian didn't disappoint at all, did he really? He just took it to him all the way up the hill, tried to force that little bit of an error. Maybe he could have got away with it, a one more time or a rerun, but unfortunately for him, Bo Ibanez did a fantastic job, and he took it all the way up the hill, managed to finish that one, and got himself the win. Now, looks like Jordan McIntosh is not going to make it back out for this drift battle. We saw it coming into turn number 1. James Abbott threw Nigella in there in the S15 nicely, and Jordan McIntosh pulled out of the drift for some reason, ended up stopping on turn number 3 with a mechanical issue. Now, we know at Winton, he had a little bit of an altercation where he made contact with another car, and they've done a fair bit of repair work on the rear suspension and rear cradle of that car. So that's going to be a tough one for him out of the race, and you can see him there. Mechanical issues for the Jordan McIntosh R34, and tilt tray has brought that in. A bit of disappointment there. You can see Ben Barnes alongside. He's had a disappointing afternoon as well with mechanical issues on his car. Great to see James Abbott go over there and console him as well for Jordan. We hope to see him back here in the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars. Don't go anywhere because we've still got our top 8 to be run up next. It's going to happen all after this short break. Well, as the sun sets in the background here at Sydney Motorsport Park, the lights come on and we are getting prepared for our top 8 battles here at round 4 of the Hi-Tec Drift Allstars series. The drivers are getting their machines prepped and ready for what's going to be an incredible top 8 battle. Let's have a look at how the tree is going to go and who's going to take on who. Brodie Maher and James Abbott, 2 champions, are going to go at it. Kieran Ratcliffe will take on the Master Chef Scott Shembry. Angus Kidd is back taking on Glenn Omerod. Sam Tabouche, well, he's back after a couple of years taking on Bo Ibanez, who had a fantastic start to his Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars career. It's going to be a fantastic top 8 battle. Really, for me, it's Brodie Maher and James Abbott, though. That is 2 champions who are going to go and battle it out. That could be an incredible one. There's a couple of epic battles about to happen in this one. For me, Kieran Ratcliffe as well, taking on Scott Shembry. Now, Ratcliffe has been fantastic in his first year in the Pro. Took out the Pro-Am Championship in 2023. What can he do up against Scott Shembry? We'll need to wait and find out. Here we go. It's all about to happen. Here it is, the first battle. Kieran Ratcliffe, he's been pretty quick at the moment in this R33. Have a look at it. Whoa, he's a little bit shallow there. It's not quite the line he would have wanted. Scott Shembry drives through that as well with a lot of speed behind him. He's emulating him nicely. He needs to close that proximity. He does. He sacrifices a little bit of line. He's right up on the back of Kieran Ratcliffe. He did a nice run, Kieran Ratcliffe. Let's have a look at the tri-ace replay this time. Takes off. It's his first corner. Sets himself up. Scott Shembry doesn't need to do too much in the 350. Not too bad a line through there from that point of view. Nice and wide here for Kieran as well as he takes that skyline out there right to the outer clipping zones both times up the hill. Good angle there. Scott Shembry having to come through the smoke, and it's not often we see the Master Chef getting a little bit of a taste of his own medicine there with a smoke screen up. But Scott Shembry, oh, he's already ablaze there in the Hi-Tec Oils 350, and have a look at it. Massive angle into turn 1. Opens up a little bit of a gap on Kieran Ratcliffe, who is smoked out. But look at him close that proximity up already. They both had a moment throughout their drift battles. Kieran Ratcliffe just leaves a little bit of a gap over the finish line, but this one's going to be close. Let's have a look at the tri-ace replay. He got away. He knew he needed to go super fast, Scott Shembry, because Kieran Ratcliffe is really impressive in his first year in the Pro Series. Had to sacrifice some line there to close the proximity up on Scott Shembry, but Shembry had the momentum which kept the pace going up the hill, and Kieran Ratcliffe just trying to get as much grip down to those tyres as possible, and not really a surprise here. One more time called by the judges. Both of them had a moment in their chase runs in their first battle, so let's go again. Kieran Ratcliffe initiates nice. It's a lot smoother this time. Scott Shembry, what can he throw at it? There's a gap opening up. Kieran Ratcliffe, look how fast he is all the way to that outer clipping zone. He's got the flow on. The skyline is on the move. Scott Shembry with so much horsepower, but he's struggling to maintain the pace of Kieran Ratcliffe up the hill. Let's have a look at the tri-ace replay. Kieran Ratcliffe, I think he may have pulled a rabbit out of the hat here getting a rerun, and this is really going to pay off for him because this is a mega lead run. Have a look at it right to the outer clipping zone. Scott Shembry, he's there as well. He goes to the outer clipping zone, but he doesn't close that proximity up coming up the hill. You can see him have to sacrifice a little bit of line right at the end when he knows he's not catching him. But what can Scott Shembry do? Can he apply the pressure? It's a one more time already. Will the judges make a decision out of this? Have a look at it. Scott Shembry nice and smooth through turn 1. Might have been a fraction shallow there, though, for the judges' liking. But Kieran Ratcliffe hasn't let him get away this time. He has powered through the smoke. He is right on the back quarter. It's only a tiny gap as they go across the finish line, and that is a very different chase run from Kieran Ratcliffe. Let's have a look at the tri-ace replay. Right up on the back of Scott Shembry into turn 1. It's at this point, that's the difference. He stays with him, and there it is, confirmed. Kieran Ratcliffe will go on to the top 4. He gets a win over the Master Chef himself, Scott Shembry. What a win for Kieran Ratcliffe, and he is just breaking barriers each time he comes out for every round in the Pro class. Sam Tabouche back after a couple of years out of the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars series, and great to see him. And look how fast he is taking on Bo Ibanez now. Sam Tabouche does plenty of laps around Sydney Motorsport Park. He's a local here. Have a look at those outer clipping zones. Super fast as well in the sky, and that car is absolutely gripped up. And I cannot wait to see if he battles some of our faster competitors there. Potentially, we could see some fantastic battles if he makes it through. Have a look at this. Oh, no, Bo in the background just gets a little bit of a wheel off there. You can see the dirt flung up. Sam Taboosh could have gone a little bit wider, but that's very, very minor at this point. He's got a great advantage in the lead run. The Tri-Ace replays really shows it from the drone footage. Now Bo Ibanez will get the chance to lead out against Sam Taboosh, who was super fast in the lead run. Nice initiation. Gets the S13 settled, leaves a bit of room for Sam, but Sam, he is aggressive, puts the nose right into the skyline. There's almost no room to get the transition done as they come back. Or was there contact made, or did Sam manage to get out of that? He's had to straighten for a moment, but he gets back into the drift at the end, and this could be the difference. You can't abandon the drift or you get a 0. The Tri-Ace replay comes in. He's hot here, Sam Taboosh. This car is gripped up and super fast at the moment. That is nothing in that. Couldn't put a credit card between them. He knows at that point he's not going to get the transition done back, so he pulls out. Well played by Sam Taboosh at that point. Not quite sure if there was a slight bit of contact. Judges have something to decide, and they have it to one more time. They're going to let him go again. Sam Taboosh, can he do it again? Can he streak away and get that massive advantage in the lead run? It's a little bit shallow in turn number 1, but he's got a gap already. It didn't affect Bo Ibanez in the chase. Have a look into those outer clipping zone. Bo Ibanez sacrifices a bit of the line. He gets right up on the quarter for a moment, but Sam Taboosh has that flowing speed as he heads up the hill. Let's have a look at this Tri-Ace replay. Sam Taboosh, like I said, maybe a fraction shallow. It doesn't affect the chase driver though this time, but look at that outer clipping zone. He is on the bait, fills the next outer clipping zone. Bo Ibanez has to sacrifice that line to get the nose and catch up and get that close proximity. Can't maintain it through the last corner because of the speed flow that Sam Taboosh has, but he's got to get the chase done for Sam. Can he do it this time? Can he allow just enough room? And that's a nice little run there. They are side by side. Much smoother this time as they go through the transition and they come up the hill. Leaves him. Oh, I was going to say plenty of room, but there was nothing in it. I think they might have made a slight bit of contact as they head over the finish line. He's right there, but was it after the finish line? A slight bit of contact and the bumper comes off. They are designed to come off very easily in these cars because they don't want to affect the drift. The judges could see that as the car moving around, so they'll let them fly off if they can. The Tri-Ace replay might give us something to look at here. Watch the transition back. That was close, but there was much more room than last time. And this point here, that was a great transition. That was a fantastic transition from both drivers there. And look at the proximity, and it's right at the finish line. I believe it was after, and Sam Taboosh will get the win in this battle. Next up, Angus Kidd rejoined us. He was at round 3 of the Hi-Tec Drift Allstars series. Had some issues with the car. Electric steering column, I believe, some voltage issues there. But Glenn Omerod right behind him in the 86 now. Have a look at Angus Kidd. He's opened up a little bit of a gap on Glenn Omerod, who's had to sacrifice a fraction bit of line there, but there's a straighten. A little straighten from Glenn Omerod, and that could be the difference with these two drivers because Angus Kidd has a lot of experience. We haven't seen him for a couple of seasons, but he's had plenty of time behind the wheel of this Supra. It's nice there, Tri-Ways Supra through that turn number 1, maybe a little bit shallow. There was just a moment in the background there for Glenn Omerod that may be a little bit of a deduction in points just coming up that hill as well. Lots of angle there from Angus Kidd. Well, we're going to turn it around. Can Glenn Omerod try and dominate in the lead position? It's not a bad entry there as he comes through. In the background, you can just see a moment there for Angus Kidd. Now, Glenn Omerod will push on in the 86. How wide does he go here? It's right on that outer clipping zone there. Slingshots the car back in. Not too far behind, though, for Angus Kidd as they head up the hill. We'll have a look at the Tri-Ace replay because I think this one's going to be super tight when it comes to the judging. Now, Omerod, he got a wheel over that inside ripple strip. That's probably not going to help him there with the judging because it's not going to give Angus Kidd the opportunity to put the nose of the car in, and Angus Kidd is confirmed as your winner by the slightest of margins in this battle in the top 8. Now, this is two champions going at it, the 2022 champion, the 2023 champion. Brody Marr leads out. The man from Tasmania leaves him a little bit of room as he goes three-wheeling through turn number 1. James Abbott needs to get Nigella fired up. He's had a whole heap of issues this weekend, and now they go door to door. But, he's out very wide for Brody Marr. Was that a slight mistake? Could that be the difference? The judging is going to be super close with that one. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Always fantastic watching these two drivers. Great respect shown through turn number 1 there. Brody Marr goes a little bit wide. You can see it just stalls up James Abbott for just a second there. How wide does he go here? He's over the yellow line, and he's actually hit a cone on the outside for Brodie Maher, and that is just millimetres outside the zone. We'll have to wait and see how this one goes. Have a look at James Abbott. He's keen to get it away. Gives himself a little bit of room. He needs to get all the speed he can because that billet SR of Brodie Maher's is chasing him down. James Abbott came into this weekend with a lead in the championship. Can he continue that on? Brodie Maher trying to stick it to the door of Nigella, and I think he might have got pretty close there in the Drift League S13. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Wow, this one's going to be tough. Have a look at the first corner. Both of them go in nicely. It's a much better line than we saw from the previous runs. Nice and wide there. It's here, not quite as far as we have seen before. It might be that mistake in that first one. James Abbott gets the win. Let's head down to Kieran Ratcliffe in the pits.
Not only are you in the top 4 for tonight's battle, but you just knocked off Scott Shembry. What went on?
I don't know, the first battle was really tight. I got a bit lost in the smoke in the transition. I was like, I'm just going to stay in it and just hope he's there, and ended up a little bit shallow. They re-ran us, and we've just ran again. I just put down a phenomenal lead, and then the chase, I just stayed in it and just held it and just trusted that Shembry would do a good lead, and he did like he does, and I was just there. I was just on the door the whole run. It was just amazing. I'm finally in the top 4 in Pro, and I've battled at one of the tops and won.
How good is this now? Much to change before you go in there, or just send it tonight?
Nah, just slap tyres on and off we go. Like, it's finally hooked up, it's finally running well. We're on these new JR500 Zach Novas, and they're just hooked. We can find the car's just working for once. It had misfires earlier today. We ended up having to do some stuff in the tune with JDR, and now it's just phenomenal. It's just on.
Oh, amazing. The team are up and about behind us as well, Kieran. Mate, what a crazy run here. Top 4, good luck for the rest of the night.
Thanks, mate, really appreciate it.
Great to see Kieran Ratcliffe and the team so excited to be in the top 4 in the Pro class. Now let's have a look at some of the highlights. This is the battle he was talking about. He took on Scott Shembry. Probably been an idol of him at some point as he's come through his career. Scott Shembry been doing this a number of years now. It was a tough first time around. They did go one more time, and both of them made errors in their chase runs in that first battle, and they had to turn it around and do it all again. But it was Kieran Ratcliffe who just put the laps together. Like he just said, he had to hold it flat through the smoke of Scott Shembry and just come out the other side. This was a millimetre perfect run that time as he went really wide out there to that outer clipping zone. But look at the chase run there from Kieran Ratcliffe. He was right on the door of Scott Shembry, who just didn't go quite wide enough there in the lead run to that outer clipping zone. Then it was Sam Tabouche taking on Bo Ibanez. Now Sam Tabouche laid down a killer lead run. There was super fast, but it was his chase run in the first battle between these two that caught him unstuck, and there was a little bit of contact made just. He managed to pull out of the drift for just a moment, so we didn't see panels fall off or anything like that, but it caused a one more time, a rerun for these drivers. And look at Sam Tabouche, side to side, flowing from clipping point to clipping point, doing a fantastic job. Bo Ibanez take nothing away from his lead run. It was fantastic, but Sam Tabouche in the chase, have a look at how close he was getting both times. This time, that contact made after the finish line, and that meant that he is going on to the top 4. Now, Angus Kidd and Glenn Omerod, this one could have gone either way for me as you have a look at them coming up the hill. But it was Angus Kidd who put a killer lead running. Now, that went really wide to those outer clipping points. It was fast, plenty of angle. We go lead for lead. I think it might have been just a moment here where Glenn Omerod went a little bit shallow and got a wheel over the inside ripple strip, which just brought Angus Kidd's line unstuck. Now, this was the champions battle, and have a look at how wide Brodie Maher went. It was full send for him. He was throwing absolutely everything at it, and I think he's gone just a fraction too wide there, which might have lost him a couple of points in this one. But it's 2 championship winners going at it. James Abbott got the lead. He went out in Nigella in the S15. He's been fighting some dramas here, but it looks like he put a solid lead run together. Could have been a little bit wider there, and the judge as well in the end. I think it might have been that little bit too wide from Brodie Maher that caused James Abbott to get the win in the top 8 and progress on to the top 4. It's going to be a fantastic fight to the podium. Wait and find out what happens after this short break. Make sure you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Top 4s are after this. The cars are revved up and ready to go for these top 4 battles here for round 4 of the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars series at Sydney Motorsport Park. The sun has set now and we are well and truly under the bright lights of the circuit. Of course, make sure you stay tuned for all the upcoming and ongoing events of the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars series on our Facebook page, or if you want to join us on Instagram as well at Hi-Tec Drift AU. You see Scott Shembry, the Master Chef there, just checking out some of his previous action and seeing where it all went wrong for him this round. Unfortunately knocked out in our top 8 battles there. Angus Kidd, though, alongside of him. He'll go into the top 4. Let's go and catch up with him right now.
All right, Angus. You're through to the next round of battles, and I wanted to come have a chat to you. Now, normally we'd expect to see a bonnet on this. Is this style points, or was there a reason behind it?
I don't know. The engine bay is a little bit messy. I don't think we're getting style points for this one. Got a strange little thing pop up where the clutch master cylinder just started boiling up the fluid and lost all clutch feel in practice because we did about 1 million laps back to back. So now it's got a little bit colder. I could probably put it back on, but it just runs so much better without it. It keeps the bay cool.
All right, mate. Well, congratulations on getting through to the final stages, and good luck for the rest of the night.
Yeah, beauty. Thank you very much.
Well, it's not the coolest of nights here at Sydney Motorsport Park, but let's get ready for our top 4. Here you go. James Abbott will take on Kieran Ratcliffe. Of course, the winner will go to battle it out for that first position, and Angus Kidd will take on Sam Taboosh, who's been super impressive coming back into the Hi-Tec Drift All-Star Series for both of these drivers. And of course, the 2 competitors that don't win these next 2 battles will battle it out for 3rd position on the podium. You see him getting G'd up. The fuel has gone in. They have got the brand new tyres on, and we are ready to get started with these top 4 battles. The Game On Motorsports Supra ready to go. Look at the timing gears of that 2J spinning over in the background. Kieran Ratcliffe getting a few moments with his dad in the background as well. They are super excited to make it into the top 4 for the first time in the Pro category, of course, taking out our 2023 Pro-Am Championship. Let's get them underway, though. Kieran Ratcliffe taking on the 2023 champion, James Abbott. Can he go all the way for Kieran? He's been super impressive. He's already taken out James Abbott's teammate. Fantastic run into turn number 1. This one's nice and smooth, and have a look at him in the skyline. Flows up through the hill. James Abbott doesn't let him get too far away, though. He is right on the back corner. That is what you call qualifying runs. Have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Initiates nicely, gets a good bit of angle as he goes into turn number 1, leaves just enough door open for James Abbott, who emulates him. Fantastic in the background. Kieran Ratcliffe right on that outer clipping zone, flows it through to the next outer clipping zone as well. But James Abbott, he is just on fire at the moment. The emulation, hard to match. He'll lead this time, Kieran Ratcliffe. He's been pretty quick, actually. I think he might have an opportunity to keep up with him here. Now, James Abbott flows through that turn number 1 a little bit smoother. Kieran Ratcliffe needs to apply some pressure here, and he does. He gets the nose up on him. Nice emulation. Oh, he's through the smoke. He's risked it all. Didn't know what was going on, but he has just kept the pedal to the metal and forced that to go through that skyline. Not quite as wide on those clipping zones in the lead run for James Abbott there. So I think this might start to even out a little bit between these two, because Kieran Ratcliffe, for me, had a better lead run, but James Abbott had a better chase run. And there you go, one more time from our judges. Not surprised to see that. We'll do it all again. We could do this all night as a drifting fan. Can see the lock on the front wheels there of Kieran Ratcliffe as he goes through turn number 1. Again, to those outer clipping zones. Probably not as deep as what we saw him on that first one. That first lead run was absolutely killer. But James Abbott, no drama in the chase position. Emulates nicely. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Turn number 1. It's pretty smooth here. Kieran Ratcliffe actually gets a little bit of motion on James Abbott there for just a second. But you can see it just changed momentum. James Abbott just using a little bit of foot brake to pull the car up there so he doesn't make contact and gets right alongside him across the finish line. Another lead run for James Abbott. Can he make an advantage here? They've already gone to it one more time. Kieran Ratcliffe taking it to the championship winner from last year, leading the championship at the moment for him as well. But can Kieran Ratcliffe slay the giant? Have a look as they go back, almost made contact, just stalled the car up for a moment, and you can see that proximity open up, and Kieran Ratcliffe has to get back on it and try and catch up at the final moments. Now that is a slight mistake, but this could separate him in this top 4 battle. Great through turn number 1 as we check out the Trias replay. Our winner confirmed as James Abbott. Looks like the back bar might have gone off on turn 2. There might have been something there. Almost contact made. Has to come off line for Kieran Ratcliffe. And that is the slightest difference between going to another one more time or losing that battle. Oh no, what's Sam Taboosh doing? He's beached as, bro. He's gone off. I don't know what's happened there in the scrubbing zone. If you're not familiar with drifting, of course, they like to get the front tyres warmed up and also maybe scrub that top layer of off the tyres there to get the maximum amount of grip. And he's just gone a little bit wide here where our scrubbing area is at Sydney Motorsport Park and managed to go off the track into the sand. But we've got him out of there with the tilt tray and he is ready for his battle. He's taking on Angus Kidd. Now, Sam Taboosh was super fast. Let's see how much gravel's still stuck under that car as he takes off. We might see a little bit come out. Oh, there's a couple of bits coming out the back there. Angus Kidd, can he take it to him? Wow, there's a lot of angle in the background there. And Sam Taboosh super fast. Have a look at this go. The flow, though, of the skyline here is nice and fast up there. And there's an issue for Angus Kidd in the background. Not quite sure if that's steering problem or a clutch problem come back into that car he's had over the last couple of rounds. Have a look at the Trias replay. Turn number 1's pretty good now. Angus just goes a little bit wide. The kick doesn't seem to be what we saw in that previous battle. Then a straighten there and he pulls out of the drift. I'm not too sure if that was the amount of smoke Sam was putting on, if we got a mechanical issue with that car, but the fact that you can continue on tells me that's potentially mechanical issues there, but is it going to become a problem now? He's in the lead run. Turn number 1 there for Angus Kidd. He doesn't put as much angle as we saw before, so he's obviously a little bit timid, and Sam Taboosh in the background has a little bit of a straighten just for a moment. And Angus Kidd will go up the hill. Now, Sam doesn't need to do too much here because it'll be a 0 in that first run for Angus Kidd, unfortunately. We'll check out the Trias replay. Not the big angle we see normally. He's very shallow. He's staying in the middle of the line too. He's not going to those outer clipping zones. Sam Taboosh will get himself a win, and he will get the opportunity to battle for first position on the podium. Well, our final battle tree now is set and ready to run. This one now is 4 positions. We know who's going to battle out for first and second and who's going to battle out for third position. Kieran Ratcliffe will take on Angus Kidd, who's having those mechanical issues. James Abbott and Sam Taboosh. That is going to be another fantastic battle to find out who will be the winner of round 4 of the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars series in 2024. Now, Sam Taboosh and James Abbott have done thousands of laps around Sydney Motorsport Park. Expect that one to be an absolute ripper. Let's get ready though for our third place battle. Kieran Ratcliffe coming off a Pro-Am Championship win last season. He is just excelling this year. Every time he comes out, he gets a little bit better. Angus Kidd returns to the series. The car had issues at Winton in round number 3. It's the first time we've seen him back in a couple of years, but he is ironing them out and trying to get through. Third position up for grabs now as they lead away. Angus Kidd in the Supra. Kieran Ratcliffe, well, he's already slayed Scott Shembry. He almost took out James Abbott. What can he do? Oh, no, have a look at that. Angus Kidd almost does a backwards entry there, and then the car understeers, and he's out on the grass. A massive advantage to Kieran Ratcliffe. He is just going to take the skyline and celebrate as he goes up the hill. Have a look at him fist pumping as they're already going. One hand off the wheel. What a start for this third place battle for Kieran Ratcliffe. Angus Kidd, well, he's always a crowd pleaser. He threw absolutely everything at that. Almost a backward entry through turn number 1. Unfortunately, you see the understeer there as the car grips up again. Now, that could possibly be those steering issues again or the clutch issue. We're not quite sure. We'll try and catch up with Angus Kidd a little bit later. Kieran Ratcliffe has the lead. He just has to string this together. He can't afford to make a mistake. He could get a third position here. Leaves a gap there. For Angus Kidd, that's exactly what the judges need to see. A little bit of a gap there for the chase driver, but look at this. He is fast up here. Kieran Ratcliffe opening it up on the 2J Powered Supra. Angus Kidd closes the door right up. He almost makes contact, goes off onto the dirt. It doesn't matter though, because Angus Kidd had that massive moment in the lead position. The Trias replay will give us a bit of a look as they head up the hill. Nice and wide there for Kieran Ratcliffe. He is in that outer clipping zone. You can see on and off the throttle for Angus Kidd as he closes up the proximity there. Right on the side of him. Doesn't quite have the flow going though as we see Kieran Ratcliffe. That really makes it hard for the drivers. Well, we're not too far away from our final battle. The two men who have dominated here tonight, James Abbott and Sam Tabouche. The Sydney Siders. Who will get the glory of being on the top step of the podium? We'll have to wait and find out. That is not too far away as they get their machines out of the shed and we line them up. For James Abbott, it's all about championship now. He needs to keep accumulating those points. He came into this weekend with the lead. For Sam Tabouche, well, he's just shown up for round number 4. And he could be a cat amongst the pigeons. Have a look at this start. Massive angle there for Sam as he throws it in. Doesn't quite leave a lot of room there for James Abbott to put the nose in, which might have thrown him off a little bit there. James Abbott has to sacrifice line, but Sam Tabouche with some sort of issue with the car, and he gets out of the throttle and pulls out of the drift. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Very critical here because see Sam Tabouche maybe a little bit shallow there, but it doesn't seem to affect James Abbott. I think Tabouche had an advantage at this point, and then something goes wrong. We can hear the car not quite happy there, and there's issues. Already got some indicator lights on as well. The hazards are flashing, but he has got the car turned around, and the Hi-Flex mobile hose service Skyline is ready to rock again. Now, you never know, James Abbott could make a mistake. He's been very clinical, but his car's been having issues all weekend as well. What can he do? Have a look at Sam Tabouche right on the back there. There's a moment, has to just get off it for a second, but then he throws the car back alongside of him. James Abbott, not the best lead run we've seen him make, but he didn't need to do it. It was an incredible finish to this battle. Let's have a look at the Tri-Ace replay. Sam Tabouche puts the nose in there. They emulate him nicely. He's almost in front of him for a moment there, but it just stalls the car up a moment for the Skyline. Tabouche up the hill, though. Look how close he is to James Abbott. Abbott not quite as wide as what we've seen him go before, but with that lead run from Sam Tabouche with car issues, I think that's going to be a massive advantage to James Abbott. Well, there's plenty of highlights to look at when it comes to our top 4. We're about to check it all out. The crowd in anticipation to find out who takes the win here at round 4. Let's have a look at the highlights, though. Here it was, Kieran Ratcliffe taking on James Abbott. This was to find out who was going to battle it out for our top step of the podium. Now, Kieran Ratcliffe threw absolutely everything at James Abbott, and they went a one more time as well. I thought potentially Kieran Ratcliffe could have got the win here, but he made just this slight little error there where he had to avoid contact in the one more time rerun, and that was the difference between these two in judging, and it's going to come up very shortly. Here you see Kieran Ratcliffe's lead runs. They are just on point. They are qualifying runs. It's this moment, though, as they come up the hill. You just see he has to avoid contact there, stalls the car for a second, proximity opens up, and that is the tiny difference. Now, Sam Tabouche, his top 4 didn't get off to a great start as he went out into the sand trap, and we had to tow him out. Gravel still falling out of the car, though, didn't affect him. He took off, and he took it to Angus Kidd, who had a gremlin in the car once again. Up the hill there, you could see how fast he was in the background. Angus Kidd's issues, trying absolutely everything he can. Now here, Angus Kidd, for me, was playing it safe. He was more comfortable with the car being in the middle of the track, not pushing the limits to those outer clipping zones. Sam Tabouche managed to get the car up there. It wasn't too hard. Now, this was the battle for third position. Kieran Ratcliffe applied the pressure. I think Angus Kidd just absolutely threw everything at it. Backwards entry doesn't quite come off, then understeers the car. Now, like I say, he has had some issues with that car this weekend. Hopefully, he can get them sorted before round number 5, because it'd be great to see him at his full potential for Angus Kidd. Now, in the chase position, he managed to get the car through, but Kieran Ratcliffe, he is just putting qualifying run after qualifying run down. Doesn't matter whether it's in battle mode or qualifying, he is doing a fantastic job in this car and really finding his spot in the Pro Series. Now, Sam Tabouche and James Abbott, we thought this was going to go down to the wire as well as they took off up the hill, and Sam Tabouche just had some sort of issue with the car and had to pull out, which automatically gives James Abbott a 10-0 when it comes to the scoring there. So with that in mind, that really affected him. James Abbott had to make a crucial error in the lead run here, and you can see he's not going to do that. As long as the car holds together, James Abbott, he could almost do these runs up the hill with his eyes closed. I think he didn't push the limits of the track. He didn't go all the way to the outer clipping zone, but he didn't need to. He just needed to get the points to try and get the win when it came to round number 4 of the Hi-Tec Drift Allstars series. Now, we talk about some of the judging here. We had those outer clipping zones, obviously turn number 1's an inner clipping zone, but as you go up the hill, you really need to flow the car, get it right to the outer clipping zones as wide as possible. As a chase car, it's about proximity, putting that nose in there, staying within a metre or two of the car in front, emulating him as they transition up the hill and change direction. That is what the judges were looking for. And of course, you have a mechanical issue and you pull out of the drift and don't get back into it. Unfortunately, you automatically get a 0, which is what we saw with a lot of these drives with a mechanical issue maybe in the chase position or the lead position really disadvantages you if you don't get that second run where the other person makes a similar mistake. But it's time to find out who our winners are. Let's head down to the podium.
Well, that is round 4 of the Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars, run and done for 2024, but not without getting down to our podium. A hell of a race here tonight, and we will give 4th place to Angus Kidd. What do you reckon? A bit of a tough night at the office, but good to be on the 4th step.
Oh yeah, it's good to get out and have a steer and get up there somewhere, but being an electrician with a busted alternator seems pretty bad for my business model, hey?
Oh well, congratulations getting there. And that'll have to put us with 3rd place, Kieran Ratcliffe.
We're here. We did it.
Mate, that has to be one of the coolest runs to get you into the top 4, and you had a good battle all night.
Oh, so close to getting jabbered, I reckon. If I didn't spin, I think I nearly had him.
All right, put your hands together for 3rd place here tonight. And that will go to Kieran Ratcliffe. Now we go to Sam Tabouche, coming home in 2nd place.
Thank you. Look, it was a last-minute plan to come out, and I couldn't be more happier with the results. I thank the family of the crew. I got the best family and crew backing us, so thank you very much, and all the sponsors and Hi-Tec for putting this on. I've been absent for a couple of years, but I'm happy to be back and looking forward to another season of it.
Well, what do you reckon? Are we going to see you at the final round then?
It looks like the boys have twisted my arm, so I'll be there. I'll see you there.
Grab yourself your nice trophy and the check. Not bad for the points haul, 1st place, and you did it. You did it pretty hard to get it up there. I mean, the start of the night, did you really think you were going to be standing here?
Oh man, not at all. I obviously got a really good team behind me, Hi-Tec Oils, helping us out, but also in the pits today, like everything that could go wrong went wrong today, and the guys that got Andreas from Skivas Racing and Raf. And who else was? Everyone was. BJ from Colo Vale, just non-stop, just putting wheels back on, fixing this, getting it running on 6 cylinders again, and it's a big relief to not where I thought I'd be, and I'm happy to take the points.
All right, we'll put your hands together for James Abbott.
Can I also just quickly say a big shout out to Sam. That's unfortunate what happened to him. He's driving killer, and I think he should have had that. And also for Jordan McIntosh, I was handed a few easy. We did a hard, but we also got a few easy ones. And so congratulations to those guys as well.
Thanks, James Abbott. Well, there it is, round 4, all run and done, and there is your podium. Angus Kidd, Kieran Ratcliffe, Sam Tabouche, and James Abbott. Put your hands together one more time, ladies and gentlemen.
Great to see our team celebrating there as our podium once again. Angus Kidd. Some issues with the car, ends up in 4th position. Kieran Ratcliffe, well, he just keeps improving in the 2024 Pro category. Sam Tabouche, great to have him back. Unfortunate mechanical issue in that final run gives James Abbott a win and will further extend his points in the championship over his teammate Scott Shembry. Can James Abbott go back-to-back in the championship? We've still got one more round to fight it out. Ben Barnes, very unfortunate for him with mechanical issues. The battle's even started taking place. And there's your championship standings after round number 4. James Abbott now leads the championship by 65 points over his teammate Scott Shembry, followed by Glenn Omerod, who has now surpassed Ben Barnes by a slim 3 points. Our next round comes to you from Sydney Motorsport Park once again as we return to the figure 8. Yes, it's a lot tighter, it's a lot smaller, but the action gets even more high impact. We can't wait to see you there for our next 5th and final round of the 2024 Hi-Tec Drift All-Stars Series. Don't forget, make sure you log into all of our socials to find out what is happening for the remainder of the 2024 season and into the future. Of course, you can find us on Facebook as well as Instagram at Hi-Tec Drift AU. Round 5 is going to be absolutely epic as we decide our 2024 championship. Make sure you are tuned in for all the action. Until then,
stay slideways.